Hello. What is going on? We're gonna try to get a couple people in here. Talk some football. Let me know what is going on. How we doing? BC14, what is going up? What's going on, boys? 8 people deep. DJ Amazing. Saw you at the drive. What is going on, my brother? Yeah, no, all is well. We're gonna talk some Texans football as we enter the bye week. Just waiting for a couple more people to hop in here, man. I don't know how you guys are feeling about the bye. To me, it's okay. I'm feeling pretty good. Man, what's going on, broski? What's going on? What's good? It's gonna be a fun. We haven't talked football in a very long time here. Just get a couple more people inside here. Well, how do you guys feel about Damien Pierce? I think that when he was drafted in the 4th round, we all knew that this was a potential someone who could burst out on the scene and start week 1. But when you see what this dude is doing, 412 yards, 3 touchdowns on the year, on pace for 1,400 yards and 10 touchdowns. We haven't seen that since Arian Foster, man. Damien Pierce has definitely lived up to the hype. Like I said, I put some money down on Damien Pierce to win Rookie of the Year. 10 people deep. How's it going, guys? How's it going? One word, beast. That's it. Now, the real question is how are we going to build off, this win going into the bye week? Because I think we saw, a couple good bright spots, right? Another one was Nico Collins. And I think really by the end of the year, he might show you that he is wide receiver number 1. Pierce's him. I definitely agree. So I feel like when I run him to the ground. I definitely hope not, right? You awfully gonna, you realize that the way that Damien Pierce runs, how he's able to just bounce off people and is very physical. You can see a scenario where like maybe a couple years, 5, 6, you start to see a decline, but hopefully not. All up for Damien Pierce. Dude has just answered the call for the Houston Texans. I think he takes a little bit of pressure off Davis Mills. Marshawn Lynch 2.0. No, that's what everyone was saying when he broke that huge 20-yard tackle. I think PFF said that they had 17 misrecorded tackles, the most ever recorded by them. So, do really showed out yesterday. Was the main reason why this Houston Texans won the game. We said hopefully get on next year. Let me see. He saved Mills' job. No, you could definitely argue in the Chargers game that if Damien Pierce doesn't have that 75-yard touchdown, that Mills gets benched for Kyle Allen, right? Because I think we were all wondering, is Davis Mills going to get benched during the Chargers game, right? There was a picture where the screen went to Kyle Allen and he strapped up his helmet, was warming up and throwing on the side. And eventually, Damien Pierce has that 75-yard touchdown. And, Mills ends up almost pulling off a comeback, but didn't get a chance to. Yeah. How would you feel if we get Will Anderson in the draft instead of a QB? Well, I wouldn't mind Will Anderson. I love Will Anderson. I think that when you add the type of edge rusher that he is, they call him the Terminator for a reason. When you talk about a QB, right? Yes, I do like Bryce Young. There's CJ Stroud. Will Levis is also making some names out there. But do you feel comfortable taking them number 1 overall if you get it? Even right now, the Houston Texans don't even have the number 1 overall draft pick. I think that is held by, I believe, the Raiders at the moment. Projected the Texans have the 6th and the 8th pick, so 2 top 10 picks. But How would I feel if they get Will Anderson instead of a QB? I wouldn't mind that whatsoever. We are seeing other teams build around and wait for the quarterback later. So the Lions are doing that currently. They're building a solid squad. Jared Goff definitely not the long-term future, but they're building around that position. And then when they're going to take a shot to get one, that's what they're going to do. But I wouldn't mind if the Houston Texans decided to build an offensive line, build the defense, because honestly, there are more holes than just a quarterback. The interior line has just been an absolute disaster for the Houston Texans. Teams are averaging upwards to 100 to 110 yards on us, and it's like anyone could just run. Do you think we could beat the Raiders? I don't know, man. If this offense can really step up and, put together some points, then maybe, but it's going to be a tough game coming out the bye week. We are going to be healthy, though, and maybe the connection that Davis Mills and Nico Collins were, put together, hopefully that grows and we're able to see those two come together and just start balling out. Do you think we need to keep Davis Mills all time for an let me see, all time? Keep Davis Mills all the time for the quarterback. I wouldn't mind, like I said, keeping Davis Mills. He's only 17 games starting into his career. He is still very young. There is still, a chance where Davis Mills can potentially show you something. But I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys if I said I wouldn't mind seeing Kyle Allen there in that Chargers game. That's why I feel like he was this close to really getting benched. And then because the question really with Davis Mills, he was folding in the fourth quarter. The Colts, the Broncos, the Bears, the he just couldn't complete a full 4 quarters of football and folded at key moments. He didn't do that this game against the Jacksonville. He had a nice throw on 3rd and 10 to Jordan Akins, where he was able to convert the first down. So the debate is still on Davis Mills, right? I I I hope they don't bench him. Are we going to re-sign Howard? I really don't know. He hasn't really showed anything worth re-signing. There was times where he plays good, but much like Davis Mills, right, there was times deep into the fourth quarter where he lets up key sacks and collapse. He had a good game last week, but you are looking for, development and consistency with these young guys as the season gets going. And, so far we haven't seen that. But like I said, we entered the bye week on a win. So hopefully that grows and we're able to build upon that. How do you feel about Nick Caserio? I like Nick Caserio. So far I do have some questions to him. Number one is, why haven't you been able to find a backup running back to Damien Pierce? We know it's not Rex Burkhead. We know that Rex Burkhead might not even be the second or third best running back on any other teams. Why he was getting this amount of attention, so far into the season, I really don't know why. But another question was, the center position. Justin Britt retired after one game. And if you go to Texans training camp, and I was, blessed to go twice, I saw that Caserio was standing in the middle of the field, 40 yards down the field. He was looking at the center position. He was looking at the team. Everyone knows that Nick Caserio is very hands-on. Well, how do you not know that, that Justin Britt is one game away from retiring? Why also didn't you bring another wide receiver when John Mechie was diagnosed with cancer? Just questions that definitely need to be asked, for Nick Caserio. I mean, also the linebacking core, the 58 and 51, I don't even want to say their names, just absolutely horrible in coverage, right? I want to see more of Garrett Wallow. I want to see more of Neville Hewitt. So there are questions to ask for Nick Caserio. I'm not going to sit here and say he's done an absolute fantastic job, but, he's done pretty good so far. When you look at the young core, he just drafted. Damien Pierce is a starter, might be rookie of the year. Derek Stingley has played fantastic so far. I don't care what that Twitter Ricky page says plays on. Derek Stingley is an absolute baller. Jalen Petrie is starting and is balling out as well. Had a good game against the Jaguars. The fullback is a rookie who was undrafted. The Houston Texans are starting 4 to 5 rookies. Kenyon Green, also a fantastic left guard. You really don't hear his name during the games. That's exactly what you want. Kenyon Green is an absolute baller. The youth is showing out for Nick Caserio, so he is doing a good job, but I also have some questions for him. I like Mills as a backup. Look at Cooper Rush. He sat on a bench for years. No, look, Mills was thrown into the situation. Let's not forget Tyrod Taylor got hurt against the Browns. Davis Mills gets thrown in. And then honestly, the Texans last year were a team where you want to see what you have in a young quarterback. Because also, let's not forget, Davis Mills was Nick Caserio's first decision as a QB. What is going on, broski? Guys, thank you for coming into live. I haven't done one in a very long time for us, so it feels good to have you boys in here. Do you think the Browns pick could be a top 10? What is the possibility of it being so? It's a very high possibility. I think right now the Houston Texans have the 6th and the 8th pick if the season ended today. That's exactly where the hell you would want. There is definitely game-changing players in between there. You could mess around with the idea of trading back and stockpiling draft picks, but the possibility you're in is with 2 first-round draft picks. You also have to look at the Carolina situation. There are players that I would want the Houston Texans to go after. DJ Moore, Ryan Burns, Derek Brown. I don't want Christian McCaffrey. Their safety, Jeremy Chin. Go after, you have the draft capital if you're Nick Caserio and you can fix your team. I hope they go after Derek Brown because that dude is just an absolute baller. Let me read the comments real quick, boys. Give me 1 second. I think it's time to target Nico Collins more. He's our number 1 wide receiver. I totally agree. Definitely showed out the last 2 games. And, I was kind of nervous going into the Jaguars game because I was like, okay, Cook showed something against the Chargers, but we know that Brandon Cooks is the number 1 wide receiver. They're obviously going to still target him, but it was Nico Collins who made big plays that one go up and get it, where he just used his 6'4" height and pretty much just jumped over the corner. That was a crazy catch. That was a top 10 play for me. And I think that coming after the bye week, we might see a Nico Collins surgence and something that we all wanted to see, that we all are expecting to see. And it looks like we might get to. So shout out to Nico Collins for definitely, knowing the criticism was there. We were saying, where the hell are you, Nico? And in the past 2 games, definitely, made some plays for the Houston Texans. And now, coming back, hopefully that chemistry is there. What is going on, Jimmy? He said, who is that guy on Twitter? He is just, man, I'm not sure who you're talking about. You got to let me know. Free agency is Nick Caserio's issue. I really hope it's not, because this year we're going to have a lot of money. Go after the best center, right guard, right tackle, and an interior lineman during the offseason. And build this team, because if Damien Pierce is good now, the only the good spot about these offensive line is the left side. That is Tunsil and Kenyon Green. I've said it many times. Center, right guard, right tackle is what's needed for this Houston Texans O-line. So just imagine how much better Damien Pierce is going to be with a revamped O-line. Let me see. What do you think about Pep Hamilton? I'm still intrigued by Pep, right? He definitely does some questionable stuff, but I think that we are now seeing this offense kind of get a little bit better all around, and we have to just look at the offense as a whole. And y'all heard me say that I think Pep could be a potential head coach candidate. Do I think so now? Absolutely not. But Pep Hamilton, I just hope that they get better and Davis Mills gets better. Sean Payton is interesting. I don't want Sean Payton, man. Would want just a young guy to come in and just change his offense. Would you trade with the Panthers for some of their players? Absolutely would. Like I said, Jeremy Chin, Brian Burns, Derek Brown, some of the players I am going after. DJ Moore, right? Would you want Brandon Cooks, DJ Moore, Nico Collins, and John Minchie next year for whatever quarterback, whether it's Davis Mills or Bryce Young or CJ Stroud? That is going to be a scary wide receiver group, if you ask me. But I definitely hope Nick Caserio is on the phone calls with the Panthers. We saw some news today that the Bills got Christian McCaffrey, but that was some fake info. But I definitely hope and believe Nick Caserio might be targeting some Panthers players. How much wins do you think we'll have in this season? Do you think let me see. I'm sorry, my lights here. We will win the division and make the playoffs. I've said it all season. I think the Houston Texans might end between 5 and 7 games. Definitely don't think they make the playoffs. What I am looking for this season is improvement in the second year guys. Mills, Collins, Jordan, Lopez, Wallow, and Charlie Heck. And then with the rookies, you just wanted to see how many start, when, and will they be impactful. So far, when you look at the second year guys, in Mills and company, there's some bright spots, right? Mills kind of is looking okay, not really that good, not really that bad. Collins, like I said, has stepped up the past 2 games. Lopez has started, damn near the past 2 years. Wallow had a good game last week. So, and then the rookies, all of them have pretty much exceeded expectations. And I just can't wait for Christian Harris to come back because the linebackers are so damn bad. And you saw the type of, much better play with Wallow. So only imagine what that 4-4 speed with Christian Harris. Damien Pierce ran hard. Absolutely. I was freaking screaming, dude. Baby Marshawn Lynch. If Nico became the number one wide receiver, I definitely think so. They were like, you traded Cooks. I wouldn't mind trading Cooks in the offseason if Nico Collins definitely shows that he's number one, because John Minchie's coming next year. We could definitely sign one in for agency or draft one with one of our high first round picks. But, Brandon Cooks so far has been a disappointment. We signed him, we gave him that $20 million extension and hasn't really shown that he right now is a number one wide receiver. We need some high picks. Good to be Cowboys and division teams lose against the rest while watching the young guys shine. I just want to see a competitive team. We have to be the Cowboys. We have to look good, against the division. I agree. Like I said, what I am looking for in this season is improvement in the young guys, mostly in Davis Mills, because if you don't have to worry about if you don't have to worry about the quarterback position going into this offseason and this draft, that is a W. That is a win. Do you think we should tank or trade and see if we win games? No, you run with exactly you have now. I don't even think the cap allows us to pick up anyone. I'm not sure about trading, but you run with exactly you have now, right? There are still a lot of stuff to look forward to. The development of Nils, the development of Collins. What more will Damien Pierce give you? How much better does his offensive line get? Because imagine coming out the bye, Davis Mills just looked fantastic, and we're like, what the hell's going on? It's all ready to go next offseason. Stuff could just happen in the blink of an eye. Do I think it's going to happen? Absolutely not, but you got to be prepared for that. If Nico becomes number one, like I said, yes, I would trade Cooks if you can find the right suitor. Think we should take a long shot at signing Will Fuller back. Team needs more weapons. Absolutely not. I don't want just an injury wide receiver. I don't care if he hasn't played. We should tank, but beat the Cowboys and Titans. Whenever you beat the Cowboys, it's a good day. Agree, the right side and center is the areas we need to fix on the offense alongside wide receiver and another tight end. I kind of do like how Nick Caserio fixed the tight end group pretty quickly, right? Because it started Pharaoh Brown, Brevin Jordan, and I think Austin O'Clair. And now it's OJ Howard, Jordan Akins, and Shrek. And you can argue that the tight ends have made plays all seasons for the Houston Texans. Davis Mills has more touchdowns to tight ends than wide receivers right now. I do think that Nick Caserio has definitely fixed the tight ends. Can they get better? Absolutely. We should definitely take a look at one in free agency or just see whatever we got. I do like, OJ Howard. I think he could be here for a very long time. If you could get Tom Brady, would you? Absolutely not. I feel bad for Tom Brady, whatever the hell he's going through. Would you sell an AB? I really hope AD didn't pipe his wife. It's a tough scene, man. I just hope we beat the Browns. I wouldn't mind that. I want Dookie Boy to get drawn into the ground, intercepted by Derek Stingley. Ewers 2024. Give me Ewers any day of the week. The amount of throws he's making there at Texas just drops your jaw. Bring me that mullet to Houston. I would be excited. The fans would be excited for. Also, I think another QB people should be taking a look at is Caleb Williams. On defense, we need to get another linebacker, DE, and defensive tackle. No questions there. You want to see what Christian Harris does as a linebacker group. The Jaguars when we played them, Foye Oluokun wasn't free agent in the offseason. I was saying the Houston Texans should sign him. I was also saying we should target one in the draft. So LB is definitely a need. I'm sorry, I don't know why I have the burst, but at the defensive end spot, you need someone on the opposite side of Jonathan Gennard. I don't think it's going to be Jerry Hughes, Mario Addison, or Rasheem Green. Hopefully, it's Will Anderson. And at the defensive tackle spot, it just needs to get better. Roy Lopez, Malik Collins really haven't been doing it all season, and it's just kind of been a weakness and a disappointment so far, as the season goes on. one more O-line and two more pass rushers, away from heavy contenders. I don't know about that. We definitely need other stuff. We'll like another wide receiver, another safety. I like Jonathan Owens, but maybe a better one in coverage. There are still a lot of holes for this Houston Texans defense, to where we're away from competing, but hopefully we are on the right path. He said in the press conference he was bringing back Kiki Q. We'll go ahead and see about that. Um, what do you think Cooks has? Why do you think Cooks has been quiet this season? I think it's been a mixture of Cooks himself and this offense. Sometimes just not being on the right spots. When you look at Cooks himself, sometimes he's really not separating. He is dropping some balls. There was some questionable where Brandon Cooks usually can make that spectacular catch and just hasn't done it so far this season. I really don't think it's a regression thing because Brandon Cooks has been consistent pretty much everywhere he's went. 1,000 yards with the Saints, 1,000 yards with the Patriots, with the Rams, with us. I just think Brandon Cooks needs to get just a little more time under him. He didn't really much play in the preseason. So, and then when you also look at the offense, we just haven't been really going in terms of a passing game. Davis Mills hasn't been there. These wide receivers sometimes just don't look on the same page. But hopefully, like you said, after this win, they grow upon that. But I definitely want to see, Brandon Cooks get going. Heinz too. Heinz is making some plays out there. You could quite argue that maybe might be a little bit better than Roy Lopez right now. And next year, it's going to be a battle between those two. Tell Lovey to start running cover two every second down. Look, Lovey is gonna run that cover two regardless. You could argue that with better players, this cover two is a damn good system and will work, right? You need to invest into this defense, edge rusher, linebackers, another corner I would love. But I would love to see more man, right? Because they're doing my boy Derek Stingley dirty in the rookie stats. Hoping Caserio can sign some nice free agents this offseason too. He didn't do much this free agency where the Houston Texans didn't have money. And now that, going into this offseason with a lot projected, we could go out and sign some big time guys. I want this offensive line built. I want this defensive line built and go after skill guys in, the draft because there are a couple right tackles and right guards available in free agency. And, there are some, D tackles available as well. Jalen Carter, Jordan Anderson in the first, that would absolutely fix this defense. Man, both those dudes are absolutely special. Pep's not calling good play calling. There are some times where you're like, Pep, what the hell are you doing? Right. There was a 1st and 20 and they run a draw with Rex Burkhead. But I think that they hear the criticism for the fans. And I think that, they try to build upon that. How do you feel about Stingley first interception and how many more do you think he will get? And Jalen Petrie, I think Stingley has done fantastic so far. Let's not forget he was a year and a half removed from football, coming from that ankle injury. You want to see him more in in one-on-one situations because that's where he's going to thrive. And that interception was big time. If you saw he turned his head around, found a receiver to cover, intercepted it. He shouldn't have brought it out, but that is a rookie mistake. That's the stuff that you're going to live with. And in regards to Jalen Petrie, fantastic. 2 interceptions on the season, a sack, definitely came onto the scene against the Bears and had a good game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, a couple of pass defense. Jalen Petrie and Stingley are both going to get better. These are 2 cornerstone pieces for the secondary and just excited to grow with them and, see them ball out for many years to come. I think the secondary just crazy how Nick Caserio really fixed it in one offseason. Do you think if Watson was on the Texans still with his defense and offense, do you think we will be, undefeated possibly? I mean, you could have that conversation, right? Because you could say with better Davis Mills play, you can argue that the Houston Texans are, if not 4-0, 3-1. Maybe you still chalk up the Chargers as a loss. But the Colts, Bears, and Broncos are all games that you could have won. And it came down to Davis Mills converting some downs and scoring. Didn't do that, but Finger Boy is already on the Browns. I'm excited. I think we have like 40 million cap space, upcoming this season. I hope Caserio will utilize it. I hope so too. I also would like a running back, man. A second running back I think is needed for this Houston Texans team because it's not Rex Burkhead. I don't fear, Burkhead when he's in the backfield. I feel like as soon as he gets touched, he's gonna go to the ground. He may be doing the little stutter dance he always tries to do to make someone shake, where he doesn't shake anybody. And you can argue that maybe Dare Bungawali can do the exact same stuff that Rex Burkhead is doing currently. What if we draft another corner in the first round? If he's fucking good, then I wouldn't mind it whatsoever. Keep on building this defense. Imagine 2 all-pro corners and Jalen Petrie back there. Just build, the defensive line in free agency, and then you'll see what the hell happens. Any specific players you want this offseason? I really don't know yet. I definitely have to, go ahead and do my free agency list. I don't really do that till half the season gets going, but this was all the stream today, boys. I only wanted to be on for about 25-30 minutes. Tomorrow, I will be dropping a video on, how I feel about the Houston Texans going into the bye week. So, guys, love y'all. As always, go Texans. You guys have a very blessed day.